welcome to today's session. Today we're going to do a little bit of advocacy and some self-awareness just to see where you stand in certain issues that pertain to girls and women. But before we get into that, just to give a little disclaimer, as always, we are mandated reporters, so anything that you say on here, just to be mindful of. If you share anything that involves you harming yourself, harming someone else, or someone else harming you, then we are obligated as mandated reporters to report those things. So we will go ahead and hop right in. So we'll go ahead and get into today's lesson. We have been having conversations all week, and we are going to continue with having some conversations today. So the activity that you're going to do today will give you a chance to access and think about your own beliefs around gender-based health issues, as well as learn from others as we, practice our listening skills in this session as well. So I just want to give you a reminder as far as how we're communicating with each other. When we're talking about how we feel or our beliefs, make sure you're using I statements and speak from your own experience and your own beliefs. So you can speak about what you believe in, why you believe what you believe, and then describe your own experience pertaining to the statement that I'm going to make. So also, I want to remind y'all that this isn't a debate. It's not an effort to change anyone's beliefs about anything. And one of the goals here is to learn how to agree to disagree in the most agreeable way possible, okay? So what I'm going to do is I will read a statement as well as copy it into the chat box, and then we're going to have a little discussion based on the statement that I have put into the chat box and that I've read, okay? So you unmute your mic or type in the chat box. As always, you're possible if somebody says something that you don't understand, be sure to ask questions for clarification and just have a conversation, okay? So my first one, I'm going to type in the chat box. My first statement is, when it comes to preventing pregnancy, it's up to the female to control that. So what is your thoughts? How do you agree or disagree with this statement? When it comes to preventing pregnancy, it's up to the female to control it.
I disagree with that statement. I think it's both parties who are in this when that's the it's both their responsibility to not get the female pregnant.
Okay, thanks for sharing. EA, I see that you said no. SW, you said, I feel like it's mostly up to the female. Can you explain to us why you think it is mostly up to the female? Okay, and SW says she feels like it's mostly up to the female because the female knows the outcome. I'm gonna ask you, do you think the male in the situation doesn't know the outcome? I see that EA elaborated a little more and said, if you love your partner, you will protect the both of you. What about you, Soma? How do you feel about this one? When it comes to preventing pregnancy, it's up to the female to control that.
I feel like it depends on what kind of relationship you're on. If it's a healthy relationship between both girl and a boy or a woman and a man, then probably it's up to both of them to take care of a child, and both of them should have a decision on that. But again, sometimes, unfortunately, there are men's or boys that step back when it comes to taking responsibilities, and then again, some girls are raped and then they are underage, they're not even able to have a healthy pregnancy. So in that case, of course, a woman should have the choice to either have the baby or not to have it, or even, anything for the baby. But depends on what kind of relationship you share with your significant other.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. SW says the male knows too, but if a female does what she does, she will do what she has to protect her, and the male should too. Okay. And CW agrees and disagree. So the agreement with CW is on one side, if the female won't keep her legs closed, then it's her fault she has a baby. And then she disagrees because on the other side, sometimes the woman is raped or impregnated without her will. Okay, I see that. I hear you. I understand that, and I, like all of you, agree that it's the responsibility of both parties. Both are responsible. Both are at an age. Hopefully, if they are participating in sexual intercourse, to where they can both protect themselves. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna get our next. Our next one,
Okay, I got it for you. Here.
okay, thank you, Soma. So our next statement in this, if agree or disagree, not sure, it is women should be able to choose access to I'm sorry, women should be able to choose to access safe legal abortion during early stages of pregnancy with relatively few restrictions. Do you agree, disagree, somewhere in the middle? Explain why. So I see a couple agrees. CW agrees, EA agrees, BZ agrees. I would have to say I agree with this also, that women should be able to choose to access safe and legal abortions during early stages of pregnancy. My fear with the administration that we have in office right now and the selection of a new Supreme Court justice is that women soon may not have access to safe and legal abortions. EA says that it's her perspective that women need this so that they are safe, but it doesn't mean that everyone should do it. I hear you, EA. Okay. All right, Soma, you wanna put our next one in the chat box? Um, the next one is girls send mixed messages when they wear sexy clothes and flirt while remaining celibate. Do you all understand what celibate means? Okay, so everyone says no. So celibacy is pretty much a vow to not have sex, to remain and no sexual contact with people. So it's basically the statement is saying if a girl sends mixed messages when they flirt and wear sexy clothes and they've decided to remain celibate. No. CW says she, after understanding celibacy, she disagrees with that statement. Disagree. Okay. Does anybody want to elaborate and tell me why they disagree with that statement?
I guess I'll elaborate then. um, I mean, why would you even do that? Like, you're just asking to get hurt by that way. Because I know people get raped and they say it's not the victim's fault sometimes, but like, you wear those clothes. Like, half of the people who get raped wear those clothes. Those sexy clothes. I don't even want to say the word because it's embarrassing, but like, and then they want to stay celibate, or I don't know how to say that word. And they want to stay that way. And then I don't understand people like that. So.
Okay, so when you said you disagree, but let me see if I understand you. You're saying that girls do send mixed messages when they wear clothes, sexy clothes, and they flirt.
No. I'm saying that I guess I don't know how to explain it.
Well, you did good the first time. I just wanted to make sure I understood what you were saying.
I don't even remember what I was saying anymore.
Okay. So
I have short-term memory. I don't understand what I say half the time.
it's all right. I heard you. I just wanted to clarify. So CW says, why else would they be wearing such clothes, and flirting is a big flag saying you want to have sex. So you're agreeing with this statement that girls are sending mixed messages when they wear sexy clothes and flirt? Is that what I'm, yes. Okay, does anybody have a comment, a difference of opinion?
I can
I
go.
do.
Okay. Who was that? You can go
It's
ahead.
EA. Go ahead, EA.
Okay. I just think that people should express themselves, and I don't think how they dress means anything. Maybe if they're flirting, that's other thing, but no, I don't think they're sending mixed message. That's just me.
Okay.
That's just clothes.
Yeah, I agree to EA actually. Yeah, because I've heard of rape cases like a 2-year-old or even a 2 months old baby is being raped, and if dress was to signalize, or if dress were meant to sexualize, then why would a baby get raped for that reason? Again, flirting wouldn't mean anything, I guess, because there is a healthy flirting too, and I guess flirting doesn't necessarily mean that you are, you know, trying to be sexual with some person. So I do not think I agree with that statement, and it's up to women to dress whatever they want. So
Okay, thank you all for sharing for that one. Let's see what our next statement is going to be. The next statement is going to be withholding part of the truth is okay if it prevents hurting someone you care about. Do you agree with this? Do you have experiences with this? Do you disagree?
Can you explain that, please? I'm kind of slow.
You're not slow, but I can explain it. So it's basically saying telling someone a lie is okay, or not telling them the truth about something is okay if it doesn't hurt them because you care about them. Does that make sense?
I I actually do that sometimes, but it doesn't mean that it's okay. I don't agree.
Okay. And what makes you do this? Like, I know that you don't agree and you don't think it's okay, but what makes you feel like you need to not tell them the whole truth, the part of the truth?
I have little siblings, my little brother and sister, and sometimes I keep things from them so they're calm and they don't stress about things that they're not supposed to.
Okay, that makes sense. I see over in the chat box, there's a couple disagrees. SW says the truth hurts. And BZ has agree with some question marks. There may be some uncertainty there, but maybe they agree for the most part. I struggle with this when I see Soma in the chat box says this is a hard one to answer, and I agree. For me, this is a hard one to answer. I'm kind of like EA to the point of I know it's not necessarily okay, but sometimes, I'm guilty of it. But a lot of the times I do try to be really honest. And even if I know it's going to hurt and I want people to do that to me, because finding out later on the full truth sometimes hurt even more, you know? So, yeah. All right. Let's see. What's our next statement? The next statement is having sex with someone you don't really care about is wrong. Okay, we have 3 agrees and 1 disagree. So can we have the 1 disagree and, okay, the 1 I'm not sure and the 1 agree, 1 person from agree to explain a little bit why they feel the way they feel about, if you don't really care about it or about the person you're doing that with.
Well, I can go. Well, I personally, it's not in what I believe in, but I wouldn't judge anybody for that, because they have their own reasons for what they do. But personally, to me, no, I don't agree.
Okay. I'm going to, let's see.
I was gonna say something.
Okay, go ahead, BZ.
I feel like it's wrong when you do that to someone, because then you're giving their, like, if they really care about you, you're giving them like hope that you want to be with them. But then when you say that you don't care about them and you just did it just because, that's like really bad. Especially if you take like their virginity and they gave it to you because they trusted it. And I don't know, I think that's kind of messed up.
Okay, I hear you. CW in the chat box says, what's the point of having sex with that person in the first place? You're just likely to get a disease or have an unnecessary baby. Well, to your statement, I'm gonna say the original statement didn't say that they weren't using unprotected sex, so that's hard to judge that statement. But the probability, because you are actually doing that, is more likely than if you just didn't do it at all. SW in the chat box says, I mean, if you have intercourse with a person you don't really care about, it's not wrong, but something can go wrong, like an unplanned baby, but I mean, nothing is wrong with it. Okay. CW asked, how is it not wrong though? I'm only going to speak from my personal beliefs or stance on this question. I don't think it's wrong. I believe that some people are capable of having unemotional intercourse with others in an agreement with that other person, that there are no attachments to this. And then there are other people who go into situations like that, understanding that their emotions probably would be involved. So I think it really just depends on the people, the agreement that you have with that person. And of course, as always, you know, hopefully they are protecting themselves at all costs. SW says you could regret it, which is true. That is a true risk factor in doing something like that, is having regret, or even going into a situation not expecting for there to be any emotions, and then boom, there's emotions. So it's risky. CW says, yeah, but you're taking the virginity of someone else you don't care about. Is that not wrong to you? Well, this statement didn't say anything about taking virginity or it being their first time or anything like that. So that's not relevant to the statement that was made. This is just a simple, you know, two people are having intercourse that don't care. So I think it is depending on the relationship that the people in the agreement has. CW asks, how? I'm not understanding that question. Can you elaborate? Okay. EA says it depends on what? Okay. I really think it's up to the people. If you think that it's wrong and it's not something that you would do, stand firm in that belief, stick to that belief, because that's going to get you where you want to go and where you want to be in life when it comes to relationships, partners, significant others. So stand firm in that belief despite what anyone else might, you know, think, believe, or agree or disagree with. Okay, so we'll go on to the next question. The next question says, access to educational opportunities will decrease discrimination in the workplace. So specifically, this is talking about if people have access to education, then this will decrease like gender discrimination in the workplace. So women getting paid less, sexual harassment towards women in the workplace. EA says maybe. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Sure. I think education is really important, but not just school education, but the thing that parents teach them. And if they don't teach them to treat everyone how they want to be treated, we can expect school to teach them that. But maybe.
Okay, I totally understand that education needs to be more than just what we're taught in the walls of our schools. Okay, so we have BZ disagree maybe, and then CW I think I disagree. So it seems like y'all are kind of in the middle on this one. Does anybody else want to elaborate why they're kind of like they disagree but maybe not?
Well, people will always be discriminating others, whether you like it or not. It's just how we are. Like, people will always be racist because they're human and they have their own beliefs. and people will always judge people's religions or traditions. So it's the same with like discrimination in the workplace. Like people will always be discriminated whether you like it or not. So I don't think it would really change, but maybe. I'm not sure. That's one.
Okay, I hear you, and I completely understand that standpoint. Soma, did you want to say something about it?
Yeah, I feel like lots of maybe here in the chat box is also because our school system yet do not include any kind of, cultural diversity or any kind of social awareness programs or any sort of classes like that. And also I've seen that even in colleges, like professions like doctors, they're not given ethic classes, they're not given diversity classes. Even in the educator sections, they're not given enough of the diversity training as needed. So, like BZ said, people are going to be people unless they are made aware of, unless they know what, discrimination means. Sometimes they don't even know they are being racist, but they are because they are not aware. And I guess unless our education system changes, includes all parts of diversity, and think I think people are still going to be, in between. And also, like EA said, it's very important that we teach our children and our family members, about all those discriminations and diversity. So,
Right. Thank you, Summer. That was very well said. And I agree with you. I agree with EA, BZ, but I also agree with the statement as well. And simply because the statement says access to educational opportunities will decrease discrimination. So it's not saying that it will completely stop it. We know, from like y'all said, because of the fact that there is lack of education, and there has been lack of education when it comes to gender equity in schools and workplaces, that it won't be something that will stop. But I think that if we started to teach gender equity and things like that more often in schools, more in our homes, even workplace trainings, like that needs to happen more often, then I definitely think that we will eventually see a decrease. Or I'm trying to be optimistic, and I really hope that we will see a decrease. Fortunately, with Girls Inc., we get to have the kind of conversations where, we can teach girls about gender equity in the workplace and things like that. We just hope that the knowledge that we have here can be spread out, across our own communities, our own families, so that they can learn more of these things to decrease discrimination in the workplace and everywhere else in the world. All right. So let's see what our next discussion point is going to be. Oh, Soma says people of all genders should have the same access and requirements for military service. Okay, so women, men, trans people should have the same access and requirements for military service. We have an agree. I agree with that one as well. Agree.
I think I'm kind of in between where it says access. I think yes, there should be an equal access to all of the people, but on requirements, there might be sometimes, because women and men are biologically different, physiologically different. So maybe a man needs this size of a bicep to enter a military service, but that's actually not possible for a woman to have that. So, but the access part, yes.
Okay, yeah, I get that. I totally understand that. I think there needs to be some consideration to the fact that men and women are, definitely created different. But I think that if a woman is able to access the same thing that a man can, then definitely they should be able to, even if the man has a bigger bicep. Maybe some women can out bicep them, in their own game. So yeah, definitely. Okay, let's see what our next discussion point is. Okay. Our next statement is remaining silent when you witness bullying is bad as being the bully yourself. Agree, agree, agree. In the chat box, we all agree on that one. When you stand by and watch someone bully someone else, what does that make you? You know. So I know BZ, we've talked about bullying, you standing up for people before, in our other sessions. So I really figured you'd agree with this one.
And actually, this morning, we made an assignment to talk about bullying, kind of. And I got a video message from an old bully that says that she said she was sorry that I was bullied and that she's happy that I'm still alive. But she said it in a standpoint that she wasn't a bully. She was saying that way. So I'm like,
Well, I mean, it's nice that she acknowledged that you were bullied. But I also think it would be okay for you to have a conversation with her if you felt up to it, to say, hey, these are the ways that you bullied me, and see if she would acknowledge that and apologize for her role in bullying you.
Yeah, I feel like it's always helpful to talk out because you never know what other people are receiving that message. So it's good to talk out if you feel like.
Okay, we'll do one more statement, and then we're gonna do some closing, some follow-up, and some closing. Okay. The next statement is, it is better to be kind than to be right. CW disagree. Okay. EA agrees. So EA and CW, you want to speak on why you disagree and why you agree? BZ's not really sure. Okay.
I disagree because you're not gonna be always right. You need to learn how to listen to the other people and see if you're making even sense. And just be kind to everyone. It doesn't kill you to be nice.
Okay. CW says she disagrees because doing the right thing is best. You can't be kind to everyone. I think I I disagree with this statement. I don't think it's necessarily better to always be kind, like to be kind than to be right. I think that you can always be kind to people, even if you're trying to be right. But it's a thin line, because you have to make sure, like, if you're right about something, that it's not opinion based, like I'm right because this is my opinion, this is my, that your rightness falls into facts. And when you're speaking facts and debating facts with people, then being right is fine, but you can also be kind when you're trying to be right. When I think about being right, it makes me think about agreeing and disagreeing. And a lot of what's happening in the world today, the presidential campaign, Black Lives Matter, police brutality, there's always these um, conversations, these debates and things like that. And one side, it feels like they're more right than the other. And, I've shared this this quote on my timeline from James Baldwin, and it says, we can disagree and still love each other unless your disagreement is rooted in my oppression and denial of my humanity and the right to exist. So, like I said earlier, when we start this, we can definitely disagree with other people. We can prove ourselves right, but we can still love each other, and we can find agreeable ways to disagree, even though sometimes it's hard when it comes to, whether what I'm disagreeing with you is rooted in my oppression, as a person.
Yeah, I also, because I disagree to the statement, because I believe that you can still be kind and still be right, or even when you're wrong, you can still be kind. And I feel like there is too many definition to what is right and what is wrong. So for that reason, it's not always possible that on your head you might be right, but to the person you might be wrong. But for kindness, it goes, I think, same for all the people, at least. So
Yes. And CW says, yes, you can show kindness to everyone, but doing the right thing will go farther, in my opinion. All right. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of follow-up questions to see how this activity was for you, and then we're going to close it out for the day. So in follow-up, which topics did you feel the most energized to discuss? Like the ones that made you like really want to start talking about this topic? Were there any? None, I forgot. Okay. All right, what's our next question? So then, which statements do you think produced the most disagreement? I think the statement that produced the most disagreement was the one on whether people who have sex with other people with like no feelings is wrong. Is it right or wrong?
I'm gonna give you next question because it's
How did it feel to disagree with others in a group? When you had a disagreement statement, how did that feel for you?
I think it was an insightful conversation, getting all people's opinions.
Yeah, I agree. CW said a tad bit annoying, but also kind of exciting in a way. Okay. BZ says, all right, everyone thinks differently. And EA says, I don't mind. It's nice to hear others' opinions. Yeah, I thought it was kind of nice. I find myself, a little nervous sometimes when I need to disagree with people, but sometimes you have to, and that's okay. Okay, do we have another question? Where did you find yourself rethinking your positions or beliefs in terms of thinking about any of these statements? So when we were talking about these statements, after hearing people talk about them, did you rethink any of your positions on those statements? CW says, whenever Jay corrected me, you know what, I'm gonna apologize. I wasn't trying to correct you at any point in this, so I maybe should have been mindful of if my statement came across as making you feel wrong or standing corrected, because that's definitely not what it was. Um, so No, but I'm probably too sensitive. No, you are definitely not too sensitive. So it's okay to have feelings about things when other people disagree with you. Okay? How does hearing others' perspectives help to clarify your own thinking?
I think it tells you where you stand.
Yeah, and also tells you where you're willing to shift in your own perspectives. Because sometimes we have our own perspectives, and that's what we know, that's what we think. Everyone else around us believes that too. And then someone else gets to come in and share something completely different, and then you look at it different, and it's like, oh, okay. So
That
yeah.
reminds me of she votes, because even when you vote, hearing others' perspective and all, it tells you where you stand, and it tells you, well, what kind of change you need and what you want to support. So be there for she votes.
Definitely. EA says, Miss Boss is my role model. I love how she thinks. Mama knows better. Thank you, EA. All right, so we're going to go ahead and end it there. Thank y'all for participating in that conversation. I love to hear y'all's perspectives and hear how y'all think and what you believe in. Soma enjoys it as well. So continue to come back and have these conversations with us. Tonight we have an event going on. If you haven't signed up already, it's for She Votes. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. I'll type it in the chat box. Okay, type that in the chat box. If you send me a message on there, I can send you the link to the event that we have tonight for She Votes. It's at 6 o'clock. There will be prizes that will be raffled off. You'll hear awesome youth voices, women in the community talk about the importance of voting, especially in our political climate that we have now. So that's it. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see y'all back here on Tuesday at 3 o'clock. All right.